What's up, YouTubers? Tsquare here, and me and my son were sitting here talking about the incubator, and he had asked, we paid $125 for it, and we're pretty happy with it. We've got our next set of eggs already in there, and he had asked me, does he think we could have found one a little cheaper? If you're on kind of a budget, you probably could find one pretty easy, I bet, on like eBay or Craigslist if you look around. But like I said, we're pretty happy spending the $125 for this incubator. We've already hatched out a bunch of chicks. And then the next question came up. Do you think you could make an incubator for, say, under 10 bucks? So it got us talking and thinking, and I said, you know what? I'm willing to give it a try. So I looked over this incubator, and I mean, it has a lot of fancy stuff, but really it's just a box. It's styrofoam all inside. It has a viewing window. It has a heat source. It does have an egg turner. And a lot of fancy digital monitoring, temp, monitoring all this other stuff. Alarms. The alarm just blinked because it dropped down a little bit in temperature. But we want to give it a try. Can we build one of these or something similar to it that will actually hatch an egg for under 10 bucks? So today we're going to give it a try and we'll see what happens. So I was at the dollar store, and I found one of these coolers, literally just $1, little top, and I got looking at that, and I said that would probably make a good foam base, as you can see. And then I had seen a fan, a broke fan on the side of the road, and basically it looks like it's just a regular fan like that, but instead my fan has glass around the light bulbs, and this fan had shiny light bulb holders around theirs. Okay, so what I did, the first thing I did was the fan, I knew the fan was bad. The motor was shot in the fan, so it wasn't turning. But the lights were still all working. All we had to do was just hook up the power. So what I did, I had an old cord. See if you can see this. Just an old regular cord that we basically hooked up the hot and the neutral from the cord and then ran it into the light. That gave us an actual little light. This light would work perfect for if, say, you don't want to spend 10 bucks on a light to hang over your chicks. This light, you just put a little heating bulb in there and they're going to get enough heat from that. There's different little things that you could use it for, but what I want to do is put it in here and see if we can put eggs in here and get them to hatch. And I'll show you the design in a minute that we have in mind, and I'll show you. Give me 1 second. Okay, so what I did, I took 2 of the lights, cut out a hole in the styrofoam. I've got my 2 wires here that I'll hook up. Pretty simple, my hots and my neutral. Neutrals will be white, my hots will be black. I'll hook those up to a power source. As you can see, I hooked up 2 inside. It's a small area, so I'm hoping 2 regular light bulbs will actually work. Just to see, I know eggs have to get around 100 degrees to hatch based on the incubator that we have. So what I did, I put a little thermostat. You can pick these up for $1. I actually had one kicking around. So now that puts me $2 into this incubator. I had some tape kicking around. I could have bought a cheap roll of electrical tape, 50 cents. That brings me up to about $2.50. I put the extra aluminum foil just to kind of have maybe some of the heat get reflected back towards the eggs once I put them in here. Okay. Then when you look at the incubators have water tray underneath that you put water in, and basically that's going to up your humidity. Now, so I got thinking, how can I get some humidity in here? I somehow need to put a water tray or something, but I don't want my eggs sitting in the water. What can I do? I had a water bottle, just drank of water. You should be able to see. I cut a slit in it, about fingers thickness, and I went all the way across the bottle. So that will hold water. I'll place that in the very back with the slit open to the top. And then I'll also fill that up with water. So as you can see, water's in there now. I'm going to keep that opening to the top. And I'm going to slide it all the way to the back there. And it really actually, this kind of water bottle just happened to fit real nice in there. Hopefully the heat will heat up the little box, and that will cause some of the humidity to come from the eggs and from the bottle of water, and we'll see what happens. Then the last thing I was trying to think of is, what could I put the eggs on? I mean, I don't really want them just sitting on the hot thing, the hot aluminum foil cooking. So I want to keep it hot, but I want to keep them off something. So what I got was, this is just an egg carton piece, and I figure what better thing to put in than an egg carton. And then I'll slide this in here. Just like that. And then when I'm ready, I'm just going to put this over it, and I'm going to run some tape around the top and around the bottom, and I'll show you that once I get that done. And then I just have to wire up the power up here using an extension cord that I had kicking around. And give me 1 second, I'll show you that too. So as you can see, here's just the wire that I'm going to use. Basically, it was just a cord off of an appliance that was no longer any good. If you look closely up here, this is no different than any kind of like pair of wire that you'd have, say, in your house. Basically, it's a little smaller, but it's still going to conduct electricity through it. The other end has a plug. So this would basically be like a lamp cord, say. It's going to act as heating up 2 lamps, burning 2 lamps and 2 light bulbs, and that's it. And I'll show you this once we get this hooked up too. Okay, so as you can see, basically I just hooked up the 2 whites with the neutral on the cord and the 2 blacks with the hot on the cord. I'm going to slap a wire nut on this, and then I'm going to put tape over it just for a little extra insulation over it and to hold the wire nut on. Okay, so as you can see, I just put the wire nuts on just to hold the wires nice and tight so none of them slip out. Now I'm going to put some tape over it just to make sure, as an extra precaution, that nothing comes out. So now I got the tape on there, and now we'll end up powering this up and just see if the lights inside do work. I'll have to get a couple bulbs for them. And just stole 2 lights from my ceiling fan. That will work for now. Okay, so now we got the lights on in there. We got our source of water in the back to raise humidity. We got our little egg holder so we can put some eggs on. I got a little thermostat here. And then we'll end up putting a door over it. And I think we'll have pretty good results. Take a look here what this will look like. And that is that. And like I said, I'll put a little tape over the top and a little tape on the bottom. Not so much worried about the sides. I'll have a little bit of opening there, but very little. I mean, here's the only down thing. I don't have any kind of an automatic egg turner. So I'm just going to reach in and just slightly move the eggs like a 1/4 inch each day of the 21 days. And hold on one second, we'll add some eggs in there. Okay, so I put all the eggs in and I disconnected the back bulb. All I did was unscrewed it. I left it in there just so if I have to turn it on later I can. I disconnected it because when I opened this thing back up after 5 minutes, my temperature was about 105, 110. And I was like, wow, that was pretty quick. I mean, I don't want it to be a cooked box and have hard-boiled cooked eggs or something in here when it's done. So, but as you can see, I got all the eggs in there. It does take 21 days to hatch, and we will see what happens. One of the things, I probably will post this and I'll keep you all informed with an upcoming video, and we will see if this worked. I mean, this incubator cost us $2.50 to make. So it would kind of be interesting to see if we can hatch eggs with $2.50. And I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please make sure you hit the like, the subscribe, leave me a comment. Let me know if you think these eggs will hatch, any of them. Hit me a comment that says you think they'll hatch, you don't think they'll hatch, why do you not think they'll hatch. Just give me some feedback and we'll see what happens. Like I said, a $2.50 incubator. I'm really curious to see what will happen. And hope to see you again on Tsquare Talk. Take care, guys.